Hey guys, Dave here, and thought I'd get you out of the house and down to the lake. We're actually on Lake Kiwi right here. The kids are over here playing, and I thought I'd film a video for you. And you getting ready to hear a truck go by? Unfortunately, I'm filming this one with my phone, and this park that we're at on the side of the lake is also near the road. But you know what? I figured the scenery would easily rival the nasty road noise. And so what I wanted to talk to you about today was some of the food items in my bug out bag. It's one thing for me to just give you a long list, and to be honest with you, I could easily just give you the checklist and say have at it. But I wanted to show you some of the things I actually carry, and that way you can see ways that maybe I go beyond or cheat on the minimums that I'm recommending to you. I always recommend you start with the minimums, and once you get used to the bag and carry it longer, you can always change it up. And also with experimentation, you're going to find things you like better. And so for instance, with the freeze-dried foods, I usually buy Mountain House just because it's cheaper and I can find it in more places. But I have tried some freeze-dried foods that are absolutely magnificent. And even though it's freeze-dried and you're just adding hot water to it, rivals a lot of places where I've eaten in restaurants before, so it's pretty good. So let me go over some of these items, and that way if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message back, an email or whatever, just to ask about them. Or you know, the great thing here is if you are going to cheat, or well, cheat's a bad word, but if you are going to go away from the things I recommend because you like something better, by all means, I would love to hear about it. You might be doing something that I've not heard of, didn't think about, and want to do for my own bag. So first, since you can see this little red thing right here on the edge of the camera, I want to show you my bowl that I use. I mentioned my silicone bowl in the up above in the wording, and so this is my silicone bowl. It's actually all this stuff sitting on a dirty picnic table, so I'll have to clean it off before I put it back in the bag, but this is it. I mentioned that it's not as rigid as I would like, and so you do have to be careful when you're holding it. So the downside there with it not being as rigid is that when it has hot things in it, you will have to be a little more careful. But here's what I like about it. I can wad this thing up and throw it in my bag, and boom. That is the upside of it not being so rigid. I can wad it up, I can put a rubber band around it and use it for a little throw football even if I wanted to, and me and the kids could play with it, and it is nearly indestructible. So that's my bowl. All right, you remember the P38 from the get home bag lesson? Well, guess what? This here is a P51. It's a bigger can opener. Now I carry this in my bug out bag because I figure if I have to bug out, and if I do need to forage for food, I'm going to be eating a lot more canned food. This actually will open cans a lot faster and quicker than the P38, which is smaller. Now, some people carry these in their get-home bags instead of a P38. I'll leave that up to you. I didn't have enough of these for all the kids and everything, so I kind of just threw it in my bug-out bag. Maybe I should do a test and challenge with the P38 versus the P51. If you want to see that, let me know. Here's the utensils that I carry. I know in the minimums I recommended just a spork, but this is actually a little set that I've had for years and used and gotten used to and like, and it's light enough that it's just as light as a single spork. So comes together in this little kit, the human bite, or a human gear duo bites. And so see there, it actually slides in behind it, and we have a spoon and a fork. And so like I said, I used this one for years before I even put it in my bug out bag, and it's lasted. Guess what? Every time I got home from a trip, I threw it in the dishwasher, and it worked out just fine. See, the wind's picking up a little bit here on the lake because you can see the beard just flowing in the breeze. Hopefully that won't ruin the noise too much. If it does, I'll just raise my voice a little bit. But if you can't hear anything on the video, let me know. I'll film another one for you. But here, look at this. This is the Fossil's plate, or actually this one's a bowl. It's a plate right now, and it's got a fish bone on it. You know why? Because if you're out here on the lake or something and you catch some fish, you can use this as a cutting surface, and that way you're not setting your fish on the ground to cut it up and things like that, because we are carrying some fishing gear in the bag. So fresh fish for dinner. Now this is one of the ones I robbed this out of my wife's bag so I could show it to you. I want to show you how quickly this thing turns into a 16-ounce bowl. So basically you fold it on the lines just like a pre-made origami. And so you just line up the holes and snap it in. be sure it's snapped all the way. You definitely don't want that thing coming unsnapped before you got a bowl of hot soup in there. Look at that. Last one. And guess what? I now have a rigid 16-ounce bowl capable of holding hot soup, ramen noodles, anything that's in your bag that you want to make. So I'll just put my other bowl inside it for now. All right, I mentioned electrolyte powder mixes. These are things that I actually use in my water all the time. And so it's something I buy a lot anyway. These things store forever. I mean, even if they solidify and get a little hard because they're old, they haven't gone bad. I mean, you can throw these in your bag, and as long as they're sealed, they will last forever. Virtually no calories, but they have electrolytes in them, kind of like Gatorade, things like that. I like these because they're powdered. This is True Lime brand. I buy these. When we go to the grocery store, we'll buy 10 or 15 boxes of these because me and the kids use them in our regular water daily usage. I carry 10 of these in my bug out bag. And on the other side, they're loose in here, so I'll show you the box. That's Folgers brand, but I mentioned instant coffee, or I mentioned coffee, but buy the instant brand coffee. I know it's nasty if you're a coffee snob like myself. It's nasty stuff, and under no other circumstances would I ever buy Nescafe or Folgers, but this is one circumstance where I will because it's instant, it'll still work, still has the caffeine content that I'm looking for if I need to bug out and need some go juice. Along with that, I mentioned hot chocolate, and this is basically just 5. I've got 5 bags in here. My kids haven't stolen any from me that I didn't know of because this is an item that will disappear sometimes if your kids are wanting a snack. So I've got Swiss Miss hot chocolate in here. Basically, I just took them out of the box from the grocery store, put them in a Ziploc bag, and it goes in my bug out bag. Now, this is something though that I would say once a year switch these out because these guys are actually getting a little hard. They're not bad, but they're getting a little hard, and I would rather, it's one of the items I would rather keep some fresh ones in my bug out bag. So one of the few things that I do switch out. Now, some of this stuff, and I've got more to show you, but some of the stuff that I mentioned to you, you will need to check or switch out every now and then, so don't worry. At the end of the class, I'm going to give you a list of recommendations where you can put reminders into Google Calendar or wherever you keep your calendar. I'm going to give you a checklist of reminders, like let's say for instance annually switch out your hot chocolate. There'll be a whole list of things that once a year, New Year is best. I mean, because just starting the new year off, it's a good hard point on the calendar that people do not miss. So New Year's is great, but I'll send you a reminder list at the end of the class. For now, we just want to go over all this. Now, here's a neat thing that I came across. Didn't come across it. My mom actually bought this for me for Christmas, but I keep this in my bug out bag as well. It's a coffee. It's camp coffee. And what is the company here? It is Nature's Coffee Kettle, and it's actually a coffee bag. Pour hot water in there, and I have a bag full of coffee. And I haven't used this yet, so I can't vouch for the flavor. For what it costs, it's probably cheap coffee along the line of Folgers, but I just thought this was super awesome because look, the bag even has 2 finger holds so that when this thing is full, you can just easily pour it into your camp mug, and there you go. And look, my mom even thought ahead and bought me a refill pack for this thing. If I come across some more, I may buy another one just so I can use this thing and post a video of it to let you know what it tastes like, how well it works. But man, I'm a coffee nut, and I just thought it was cool. Okay, so also in your bags, I recommend some Mountain House patches, or not necessarily Mountain House, but freeze-dried foods. And the reason I want you to carry this is freeze-dried foods will last forever. Mountain House has a 25-year lifespan. Most of the brands do. So you can throw this in your bag, leave it, and just forget it. The only time you really need to change it out is when you hit about, if your bug out bag sat in the closet for about 20 years or more, you might want to change it out just to get a fresh one in there. But the only time I would ever really recommend messing with these freeze-dried food packets is if you want to switch out a different flavor. Maybe you find a favorite that you like. I'll show you in just a second. My favorite Mountain House is in my bag. The second one I'm going to show you came out of my wife's bag. But these are Mountain House brand. And so like I say, it's the brand I usually carry. And so my wife carries a chicken and dumplings with vegetables. And this is actually 2 servings. But if you're bugging out, you're going to be burning a lot more calories than you probably do normally. And so 2 servings really is just one meal for me. Well, I got to be honest. That's one meal for me under normal circumstances. 15 grams of protein per serving, and so this bag is 30 grams of protein. So that's not bad for some good sustained energy if you're bugging out and carrying this pack for quite a long distance. The one I carry though, my favorite, and if you want to get some of these and try them out, I highly recommend that as well. Just try all the flavors and see which one you like best. Beef stroganoff. Beef stroganoff with noodles. This one is only 11 grams of protein per serving, but it's 2.5 servings, which once again that's David speak for one serving, because I'll down a whole bag at one time. It'll fill me up, so I'll have to wait just a few minutes for dessert, which I don't have any of those with me right now, but Mountain House and some of the other brands actually make freeze-dried desserts. Mountain House has cheesecake bites, but my absolute favorite with them is the raspberry crumble. It is amazing. But this is the beef stroganoff, and like I say, these things will last forever. The bags are nearly indestructible. You just pull the tab, add water, and that is it. So I've got my stove here, but I'm actually going to show you my BioLite stove. I'll show you that on a separate video and actually show you how I work it and everything. I know I recommended some other ones above, but I use the BioLite because there's a few key features I like about it better than some of the others. The downside to the BioLite stove that I use versus the ones I recommend for you is that it's big. It takes up a lot of room in the pack. But I hope you enjoyed this little primer on what Dave carries in his bug out bag for food. Let me know what you carry. If you have a different favorite flavor in freeze-dried foods, especially if it's a different brand, tell me, man, please. Let me know so I can try it out and see if I like one better. Because if you're having a bug out, if you're in a bad situation when things are stressful, the kids are crying, maybe there's a natural disaster, people are shooting at you, aliens are in the sky. I don't know what might be going on, but food is motivation. I mean, a nice hot meal when things are bad can really, really lift your spirits. And so as I wrap up this video, I'm going to step back and give you a nice view of the lake. And then I am going to go jump in the water with the kids. So there we go. So I live in upstate South Carolina in the, I guess you could call it a lake region.